Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Tentacle Town is a board game that I found on Kickstarter and had a beautiful presentation, and boy does this game look great. I love the bright colors in this game and the artwork and the tentacles that are coming out. The look of this game is just wonderful, and it's one of my main attractions to this game. But artwork does not make a game, does it? And Tentacle Town kind of proves that. So Tentacle Town is a very light, very entry-level worker placement game. The game does give you the pros of, learning how to play the worker placement, putting the pieces out, generating stuff and having convert them. I like all of that. The cons kind of overtake the game with the take that. The game ends when the workers are depleted, but every time Tentacle's able to destroy those workers, they come back into the pool. So based on the rules, I guess, the game can be really long or really short. Technically, based on the rules, the game could be infinite, although that's very unlikely. The different actions you're doing are very simple. There aren't many of them, so you find yourself doing them over and over and over again. And that leads to a little boredom as it sets in. On top of that, you're having take that. Things are attacking you. You're building things, and they're being destroyed. You're putting workers out, and they're being destroyed. And it becomes a frustration more than a fun, enjoyable experience. Tentacle Town was a big letdown for me. Now, it wasn't the biggest of hyped letdowns because it wasn't something I was truly looking forward to that much. The artwork pulled me in, and I was hoping to have a very solid game. And that's probably what I ended up with. I would say this is probably around a 5. It's a solid game. I could be talked into playing again. It's fine if it ends in a shorter way. If it drags on too long, I am bored and just want to be done with this. And that's kind of where I fit with this game. I would say if you have family and you guys maybe in a younger family, 6, 7, 8, and you guys want to play an entry-level worker placement game, take that and that kind of things, I think people that age are really going to enjoy that. Or if your family just enjoys take that and demolishing others, I think that will play into it also. For us, that's not something like we do. If we build up an engine, we don't want it to be destroyed. We want to kind of play with that engine instead. So this comes into gamer style. And I don't want to say that's a negative about the game because that is the game. I don't want to be crucial over a game doing well what it does, even if it's what it does is something I don't like. In this case, that would be it. It's a little bit too light for me, a little too loosey-goosey. I don't like all the take that and destroying of things. Your mileage may vary. For us, Tentacle Town is a stay-away keeper. Here is Tentacle Town, 14 plus, 2 to 4 players, and about an hour. Very attractive box here. As you can see, there's a town, people running around, and tentacles coming out. My copy, its Kickstarter copy, came with a sticker, a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes, and you're going to get a board. Now, there wasn't an insert. There was a shipping insert. I've taken it out to fit everything inside of here. The board is going to fill out. Now, most of the board, the water spots, really, there isn't a whole lot to do with it. You're going to be setting tentacles there. But the rest of the spots will be the worker placement areas that you're going to have. You're going to have areas here for buildings. You see these little squares. You're going to put the workers anywhere on here, and these will be the actions that you can take there. It kind of shows you that. You're going to get a spinner. I'm not crazy about this spinner. It's okay, but you do get a spinner. The tentacles are really the star of the show here, these big green things. And they're just going to sit out here and come out of the water, which is pretty neat, I suppose. We're going to get some harpoon tiles. These are double-sided in case instead of that you want to use them to flip. Then you do a hit or miss with these. Some nice cardboard stars that represent the victory points that you're going to have in the game. This will be the singular player aid that you'll have. No words, just icons on it to kind of show you how to play the game. Here's your food, your cut-up tentacles, or sushi, if you will. This will be little cardboard chits that you'll have. Your stones will be little cardboard. These look pretty cool and have a little bit of a purple tint to them. Everybody get little wooden houses in their color so they can build these buildings on the board. You're also going to get some cardboard tiles that will, based on the number of players here, where there's 2 or 3 players, that will cover up some spots on the board just to give it a little artwork and you know not to go there. You're also going to get some gray meeples that will be the workers everybody will use, and some custom dice. They're a little bit undersized and small, but easy enough to see the icons on it when you're playing the game. Lastly, you're going to get some cardboard coins that look pretty good. Overall, I gotta say the components are really good. It's very striking when it's on the board. I don't really have any complaints about them. They look very, very good. The only minor complaint is this spinner. I'm not crazy about it, but it's okay. Here's a rulebook, a picture of the box. You're going to get contents, pictures of all those, and explanations of what they are. Basic overview of the game, and a little bit of a tour of the board down here. You're going to have game setup. I wasn't really crazy about this. Didn't work that great for me. I would like a picture of the board where everything went. And then the goal of the game, end it, and how to score, and how to win. So all that's put up front, which I do like. Then we jump down to how to play a game. I guess this kind of tells you it right here. It didn't feel conclusive, though, when I was going through it. Your task cards, how to use those, that's an optional thing, I suppose. And then what all the actions are on the board are listed here, which is great. Then it's going to jump into how the tentacles attack, how that kind of works, and how you fight them back. Then if you want to use the optional cards, these are all listed here, including the ones that kind of have some take that to them. On the back, it's just a Kickstarter. Thank you. The rulebook is pretty good. I wish it just would have been a little bit tighter of tight, but we were able to play the game without any issues. If you're playing with less than 4 players, you'll take a set of these out, so 2 players, and you'll just kind of cover these up. But I'm not going to use these, but just know they are in the box. Everybody will take the houses in their color. You're going to get 3 harpoons, and you will get 3 coins, and then you're ready to start the game. There'll be 20 of these workers that are available. Now, each of the workers are available for all players, so these will be set aside. And on your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to follow here will be the player rate. You're going to put a worker out. You can either take a task or build a building. Then you can pay a coin if you want to do another task or the same one. Then the tentacles will come out. Let's go through a turn. So first thing you do is you're going to place a worker down. You can place it at any one of the 3 locations. If you put it in this location, then you will activate one of these 2 actions that are there. If I were to place it here, I could activate those 2. Or here, I could do those 2. Or I can just take one of my buildings and place them out on one of the locations. Now, you're always going to have a place that's closer to the water and then further away. You always want it further away because the tentacles always attack by the land first and then inward as they go. So being furthest away as possible. Also, for setup, you're going to place one of your buildings on an out location at each of the locations. So everybody will start with 1 building at each location. After building a building or performing a task, I can then spend a coin to do one of the tasks. I can do one of the tasks at the location, even the one I've already done. I should note at this time that you have these cards. There's a blue set and a red set. And you can use these optionally if you want to. You'll shuffle these up and put 3 out. Now, the red ones are a little bit more interactive. Take that if you will. I don't prefer to play with those, so we'll just focus on the blue ones. What you do is you'll shuffle these up, and you'll put 3 of these out that any of the players can do at any time. So if I was here, I could choose any of these 2 tasks to do, or any of the ones that are face up. Some will simply give you an item. Some will make you convert in order to get an item, or some might score you victory points in some way. But just know that whenever you're in a location, you perform the 2 tasks that are there, you can also do one of the 3 face-up ones that are available to all of the players. After you perform your actions and do what it says, and we'll get into the details in a second, you must place a tentacle out in that location. Now, let's say there's already one out, so I'm placing a second one out here. So this location now has 2 tentacles. That means I will roll 2 dice. The maximum amount of dice you can roll is 4, and you will roll these and do whatever the actions are. I just happen to roll double nose. That means nothing would happen. Now, the possibilities that you could do on this is you might have to move a worker to a different location. You might have to put another tentacle out there. You wouldn't roll a dice for it, but just know it's going to be out there for the future. You could also possibly have to kill off one of these people. Now, that could be defended by fighting, giving up a harpoon, and then spinning the spinner. Or there's a dice that you can roll, or flipping over your harpoon and see if you hit or not. I missed, so that guy would go ahead and die, come off. Now, when he dies and comes back off, he goes back into the supply, which does prolong the game. And the last one you have is this one that tells you have to get rid of a building. Obviously, if you had a choice, you're not going to get rid of one of your own. You can get rid of somebody else's. Yes, they can always defend it by playing a harpoon and spinning the spinner to see if they're successful in keeping their building there. If not, the building would have to come off. Now, any time in the game that you kill a tentacle, you're going to gain a food, and you're also going to gain a victory point for your trouble. Let's talk about some of the actions that are on the board. This one says per person that is here. So let's say, you had 2 or 3 people that are here from the game. For every person there, you can trade in one of your food for a coin. So in this case, if I had 3 food, I could trade up to 3 for a coin. This says for a food, coin, and stone, I get a victory point per house that's there. So let's say there I had 2 houses here, just for argument's sake.
And if I gave it one of these, I could get a star for every house that's there. So I could score 2 victory points at that location. Over here, if I have 2 stone and a food, I can get a harpoon for every person that's there, or just a stone for every building that is there. This one says for every person that is here, I can try to kill a tentacle anywhere on the board. This one says I get a food for every house. So this one's going to give you food, this one's going to give you stones, and this one up here is going to give you coins. And there's other actions throughout the game that will allow you to score victory points. Here's an example, one of the tasks that might be up for the communal. For every stone I give up, I get an additional victory point. At the end of the game, you're going to look at each of the 3 areas, and whoever has the most buildings there, so in this case, blue has the most, he has 2, and there aren't any more, I'm going to point for every person that's there, 1, 2, 3. So in this case, I would score 3 additional victory points. After all 20 of the people are on the board at one time, and the game is over, you score up, whoever has the most victory points is the winner of the game. I'd also like to point out one more thing about this game, which are these opportunity cards. Now, you probably want to play this your first time through the game, but on subsequent plays, you probably will. You can play with 1 or 2 of these, and these will just kind of divvy up the game. Now, here's one in particular that people think is very important. Coastal Rescue. The game can drag on a little bit if you're killing a lot of people and they're going back into supply. This says when somebody's killed, you just put them in the ocean. At the start of a turn, you can return a resident to the supply or permanently remove it from the game. Here's a sunken treasure. When building is destroyed, place 1 gold in the adjacent ocean area. When a player kills the last tentacle in the ocean area, you take all the gold. Safe to go in there. And there's some boats that come in. There's all kinds of little different rules that you can add into the game. But it's good to know that there's a lot of replayability in matching these up or playing with 1 or 2 each time you play the game. These opportunity cards are really cool, and they really do shake the game up quite a bit.
Who should buy this game? I'm going to tell you, if you like Take That and things being destroyed, then this will be played more up to you. If you're looking for an entry-level worker placement game with a younger family, and they don't mind that Take That and things being destroyed, then I would say this is going to be a masterpiece to you. This game is going to have a market for some people. That person just is not me and my family, so for us, it will be a Purge.